Hey, this is NeverUsedTier, and yeah, so this is a double header today, or these are two battles, and during the first battle, I made like some stupid idiot move. I don't know, it was like 2 in the morning last night when I was recording this, and I just went over to YouTube for a second, I think. I don't know, I didn't really watch it, but I saw that I just went over to YouTube and then went back for a second, so you'll just have to ignore that. But anyways, on his team. It looks pretty standard. The threats, he actually does have a lot of potential threats. Definitely the Cincino. Always have to look out for that. The Butterfree, if you get that a chance to set up and sweep, it will sweep you. And then also the Caracosta will set up and sweep you. And the Rampardos, depending on what set it is, it can wreck your shit up. And so yeah, those are the things I'm gonna have to look out for and play around, but mostly the Cincino and Butterfree, because those are the things that do a lot of work. And so yeah, I'm leading off on my Electrode because he doesn't have a ground type. So I just taunt his Torkoal so he can't get up the rocks. And then I Volt Switch out and go into my emboar, knowing that he's gonna go for the Lava Plume, and I can take that easily. And then fire off a Scald and then just kill him, and that is just awesome because that's a dead Torkoal. And he sends in his Cincino. I go into my Showdown to take it, and it takes it pretty well, I guess, for Cincino that has a 125 base tail slap, stab, and life orb that only does about a third. And I predicted him to switch, which was an awful play on my part. I thought he would switch, and then I could just get switch initiative, and that's why you don't over predict right there. And I go into my Torterra because I know I can take at least one set of tail slaps and then kill it. And I'm lucky he didn't switch into his Butterfree, but that would be a bad play if he did. Because I could go for the Stone Edge, or even the Wood Hammer would do a lot, because these things are frail. And I go into my Shelgon, because I knew he would go for the thing and then try to set up. And I could go for the Sleep Talk and maybe get the Roar, but I don't. And this is where I go into YouTube for like a quick second. I'm an idiot. And then I go back. I didn't really miss anything. He just sets up another Quiver Dance, and then I roar him out, which is nice. And then I go into my Gardevoir, I trace his soundproof, and then he can't hit me with his own stab move, which is just awesome. He makes a pretty nice set of plays. He's gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp Miss, go back into his X-Cloud. I'm like, okay, what is he gonna do? He goes for that, what I think is Specs Shadow Ball. It does a lot, actually, and then he switches out and goes into his Caracosta to take the Psychic. And it's funny because his White Herb restores the status or the drop that I did to him, and I go for the burn, knowing that he's probably just going to set up the Shell Smash, and then after the burn, he's not going to be doing that much, and I can send into my Torterra if he kills me. But he doesn't even kill me, which is awesome because of that burn, and then I can just take him out with the Psychic. And he goes into his Butterfree, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? He goes for the Bug Buzz. I go into my emboar to quad resist that. That's awesome. And then I just go for the flamethrower, even though he has that Rampardos. It doesn't really matter because this will hit it really hard, or at least I thought it didn't matter. But check this out. I have 5 Pokemon left. He sets up that Rock Polish. He takes me out with the Earthquake, and I'm like, oh shit. What do I do now? I go into my Shellgun. I don't even know why. I wasn't really thinking. I was just talking to my buddy. And then I go into my Kangaskhan, and he just straight up takes me out with that Head Smash. And that is crazy. And then I'm like, okay, I lost because both of my things resist or don't resist. His stab are super effective against his last thing, and that's how you make a 2-5 comeback with a Rampardos and a Butterfree, and that was just freaking crazy. So I'm gonna ask you to leave a like if you enjoyed that first battle, and then here's the second one. Once again, a rain team, just like I had last time. I think I had a rain team in the last set of battles. And so in this, he obviously has a lot of threats. The Ludicolo, right off the bat, is a huge threat. The Amoonguss is just really gay. The Swanna can be a threat if I lose my Electrode, because then I'm pretty sure it outspeeds my whole team. And if it has the rain up, that's pretty scary right there. And if the Caracosta is a Shell Smash, that can do work, but I'm never really too afraid of that because I do have Electrode to outspeed it, Monferno with a Vacuum Wave. Oh, and yeah, this is the first battle that I have narrated. I switched out Specs Emboar for Specs Monferno just because it gets priority and it's a little bit faster. and I think I really needed that priority. And once again, monferno is just one of my favorite Pokemon, and it's always fun to use. So I think it's going to be permanent on this team. I'm not decided yet. But yeah, I'm leading off with my Torterra because he does have a ground type. And I just go ahead and set up the rocks because I want damage on things, and especially that Swanna. And he encores me, and then I go into my Gardevoir. And he just goes for the U-turn and does a lot of damage to my Gardevoir. And I have the Prankster now, so he goes for the Surf. I somehow live that a Life Orb brain boosted stab Surf. I don't know how I took that at all, and then I just get that Prankster boosted Wish, so that I can send into my Shelgon, knowing that these things don't get Ice Beam. The Earth Power does a lot, and I just take it out with the Dragon Claw, and then get that Wish all the way back, which is just awesome. And he goes into Swanna, and I'm like, okay, gonna send this in as fodder, and then gonna send out my Electrode. But somehow I live that. Hurricane doesn't even matter because he gets the confusion. And I don't know what the percentages are on the Hurricane, but it seems to confuse me like all the time. And he sends in his Amoonguss, and I just Volt Switch out into my Monferno. And here I make a huge over prediction, and I go for the Grass Knot, which was a bad play on my part, but you'll see how it works out. He goes for the Spore. I get the first turn awake, and I'm not trying to switch out. I was just trying to wake up, and then I straight up take out that Caracosta, which is great for me. So a bad play turned into a good play, and I go on my Torterra, and I see the Toxic, and then I see the Rain Dish, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be defensive, probably sub-seeder. And I'm like, okay, I can probably handle this one a little easier. And so I hit him with the Wood Hammer, break his sub, and then he goes to the Ice Beam. I don't know how, but I live with 3% and take him out with a Wood Hammer because overgrow range. And that was crazy. Now it's 3-3. I go into my Electrode because that's what you go into on the double downs. And I just taunt him so he can't set up the rain once it ends again. And then he goes into his Amoonguss. I was going to Volt Switch, and I'm actually happy that I got that paralysis, because now I can taunt him so that he can also not set up the rain after it ends on this turn. And then I can just go for that Ice Gemmed HP Ice. And I live with the 1%, and I don't get the Pair Hacks, and I hit him again, which is always nice because now he's at a low amount of HP, and I can pretty much revenge kill him with anything. And I go into my Monferno just to go for the Flamethrower, and that's good because now he sends in his Volbeat, and I can take that out with the Flamethrower too, because that's a pretty easy KO. And then he goes on his last Pokemon, the Swanna, and he goes to the Roost, and I get the Paralysis, which sucks. And then he sets up the Rain Dance, and I'm like, oh crap. And now my Flamethrower is not doing anything, and I don't know why, but he just, for the next couple turns, he just started going for the Roost over and over until I think he was trying to get me to get paralysis. I don't know why, but luckily I didn't. And on this turn, I think I actually get the burn because he was just trying to stall me out, but he's just actually stalling his rain turns out. I don't know why he didn't roost one more time, because if he did that, he could have set up the rain again and all that. And I go for the return. He hits the Hurricane and gets me confused, and then I hit him with the return again, break through that confusion, and that was a great game. He didn't think it was, but I thought that was a very close game because of the confusion and all that. And so yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Give me suggestions for move sets and all that good stuff. Add me on Skype, and yeah, so goodbye.